Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here with you in Iceland. And I have been concentrating on the taxation on financial asset and taxation of financial income asset. Oddly talked about capital income asset, but capital is the debt, is the debt side of is the right side of the balance sheet, but I am talking about the financial assets and return on financial assets by individuals. And my key point is, or my central point is that when inflation rises, nominal interest rate need to rise. And that is because something which is called in elementary textbooks inflation premium is treated as income, not as inflation adjustment. Inflation adjustment is just moving the number, the figures on the asset in some new level because of inflation. And when you have a bottle of wine and the price increases by 15%, then you have not a new bottle of wine. You have the same bottle of wine, just a little bit more expensive. So you have to spend some more money on it. That's the effect which I am trying to concentrate on, to find out how to solve this inflation premium problem. And the first we must do is to convert from inflation premium to inflation adjustment. Here we have the annual inflation in Iceland since 1998. It is up to 19% during the financial crash, and also a new highest point during the COVID period, and all assets, deposits which are on indexed terms in Icelandic banks are taxed by this movement, which is not acceptable for me. And the nominal tax rate on financial income is 22%. And people always look at this figure on the one side and 46% for income. But what is the subject for taxation? That's totally different. Here we have the nominal interest rate from 1% up to 8%, and we have inflation on the other axis from 0 up to 8%. And the red shaded area is there are real rate of return all below 0. I know that I have in this presentation I have Icelandic situation in mind, but I think you have similar problems in other countries, and you can convert the approach. You can convert my approach to your countries. And here, the red shaded area, there is taxation all higher than 50%, which is just a little bit higher than taxation on income, personal income on the highest brackets. And if we calculate and use the discount rate of pension funds, which is 3.5%, then you see that after tax income is far below. So you cannot build up your personal pension fund on Icelandic bank deposits. And I must admit that there are tax-free allowances for 300,000 per person, and there is no tax on financial income up to 300,000 per Icelandic krona per person, so twice that for a man and a woman, which is called couple. But another aspect is that if you look at the corporate taxation, then the corporate income tax is 20%. And then the residual 80% is subject for dividend or retained earnings. But at the final point, then this retained earnings is distributed among shareholders, and then the taxation is 22%, and that means the effective tax on corporate profit is not 20%, it is 37.6. Do you understand this calculation? It's too complicated. It's only elementary mathematics behind it. And another thing which has been mentioned before is that pension contributions are tax deductible. And when you have your pension, then the pension is taxed as salary income. But as the pension is a little bit lower than personal income while you are working, then you are probably in the lower brackets than during employment. You must know that when you invest in stocks, it's at time zero. And there is also inflation adjustment on that investment, because in the eternity, when you sell, most of the capital gain is not capital gain, it is inflation adjustment. So in practice, financial taxation in Iceland is more or less a confiscation of the treasury, and that has been my fight for many years. And even though I was member of parliament for several years, I couldn't change the approach within the parliament, and we had other problems which we had to solve before I took the final struggle, and then I had to leave the parliament. But here we are. We are not in the concert hall, but we are in the concert and conference hall. And if we calculate the taxation of dividend and capital gain, which goes through pension funds, Then we have the effective tax on the lowest brackets, 45.19. In the middle bracket, 51.52. And in the highest bracket, 57.03. And you can compare it to the column to the left. So I think, and I am quite convinced that you have the similar problem all over Europe. And we can struggle on regulations and deregulation, but if we leave taxation outside our subject, then we can close better finance. I hope that you have understood my message to you, and I am willing to take questions now or later. And I hope that you understand this simple mathematics. Thank you.